Okay. Hey, beautiful people. It's 9 o'clock and time to get started. Thank you so much. If you are here either watching replay or if you're here with me right now, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. It is, it's interesting because I was just walking around the house thinking, where was I going to start today's call? And I thought, well, one, I am not spending 10 minutes doing a big welcome intro. I know for me, when I'm on these calls, if I'm doing anything like this, I tend to switch off for the first 10 to 15 minutes because sometimes such a big intro. And yeah, they annoy me. So I decided not to do one today. This is it. I'm starting from now. I'm here, I'm awake, I'm alive. And I also really wanted to share. I was walking around thinking, this is possibly the best I have felt in a long, long time. And it's been amazing because I shifted something really, really deep a couple of months ago. Excuse me. I shifted something really, really deep a couple of months ago. And ever since then, I've been incrementally, moment by moment, by moment by moment, moving myself into a better feeling place, a better feeling place, a better feeling place, until now I can go through most of my day feeling good. I still have moments where I drop. I think we all do, even some of the best people in the world who are experts at their energy and connection, they still have moments where they drop. But the bounce back is shorter. You know how to get yourself from where you are in that bad feeling place to where you want to be in that good feeling place. And that's kind of why I really wanted to do this coaching week, is to offer people that experience of doing those moment to moment to moment changes, because that's really what it is. And I also have to say, okay, so we have roosters and we have guinea fowl and I have dogs, and they are all within the range of the house. So if you can, Zoom's pretty good about knocking out the background noise. But if you can hear roosters or guinea fowl or dogs, that's just being on a call with me. That is what being on a call with me is like. So yeah, I kind of want to share where I come from, so you can kind of get an understanding that this was not always me. I was not always in this really good feeling space. In fact, when I first started my podcast, which was back in January, I was in the mud. I was in the deepest, darkest space I think I've ever been in. And I have struggled with depression since I was 12. And I'm now 47. So that is a long time to struggle with depression. But I went into a really deep, dark hole after my mum passed away. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And then, of course, with what's happened over the last 3 to 4 years, the fear and the lack of safety and the lack of trust, and just feeling so lost in a world that was filled with very angry people, and not knowing how to cope, because so many people went angry in the last couple of years and I did not feel safe. And so my journey comes from a really deep, dark place, and also panic attacks. I've had panic attacks since I was 19, and I stopped them probably about 2 years ago. I found the solution to that, and that's what I'm actually going to bring into this call today, is that solution that I found, because that was really the start of me moving into this better feeling place. Because what I really understand now, which I did not understand years and years and years ago, is that when you wake up in the morning and you feel like a worthless sack of shit, and then you go through your day with that same feeling that you woke up with, and then you go to sleep with that same feeling that has been with you all day, and then you sleep, if you're lucky, or if you're like me, you wake up during the night, usually in a panic attack, which is what was happening to me. I'd wake up like middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of a full-blown panic attack, not knowing what to do, walking around the house, like shaking my hands and just really stressing. And there was even one day my next door neighbor was still awake. I saw a light on, so I texted her and said, "Are you awake?" And she said, "Yep." What are you doing? And I said, "Can you come over?" It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And she came over and actually, I think that one was 11 o'clock at night. And she came over and she sat with me until about 1 o'clock in the morning, until everything had settled back down again. So it's hard. It's hard. Life is hard when you're in that space, and every day you are walking around and you just have this guttural heaviness that sits on your chest, and it sits down in your soul, and it sits down in your body, and it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't care who you are. It is a horrible place to be. And when you live there, like I did, every single minute of every single day, and I have been there for years. It got worse when my mum got sick, which was 9 years ago, just under 9 years ago now. And it really got amplified when she passed away 6 years ago. So for the last 6 years, I have really been battling with this darkness. And what I heard 2 years ago actually was the start of the shift of this happening. I was at home and I was walking around the house, not this house, we were in a different home. And I was in that home and I was walking around going, okay, this is insane. I cannot spend my life feeling like this. I don't understand what's going on. And so as I was walking around, and I also actually, I just heard to share, so I have been working on my stuff for about 17 years. I opened the door when I was 30. That's when I took the pill. My dad passed away, and it really had me wondering, what is the point? Like, I don't get what is the point of life? What is the point of living if all you do is work and work and work and work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, in a job you don't even like, to then have the weekends where you cook and clean and go shopping, to then not enjoy Sunday because you know you have to go back to work on Monday. And it was just this cycle that I saw my mum go through, I saw my dad go through, I saw friends go through. I went through it as well. Through my 20s, I worked in office work, and it was just that mundane cycle that I couldn't. And then when my dad passed away, I sat there one day and went, what? I don't get it. What is the point? What is the point of life if this is it? And that was the moment where I went, there has to be something more to life than this. And that was like my door it didn't just do this. It went, oh, so you're awake now? And the door got ripped out, ripped open. And all of a sudden I saw, because very soon afterwards, The Secret came out. And then all of a sudden everything was about, you create your reality. How you think and how you feel is what you actually create in your reality. And I take that one step further, which is what I'm vibrating. So my thoughts and my feelings, yes, they do create. So my thoughts have the power to create feelings. The feelings have the power to create thoughts. And underneath that is this overall vibration that we are projecting out into the universe. And that overall vibration that is being projected out into the universe is what creates this reality for us. And so once I kind of had all of that opened up and went through my own journey through marrying someone I did not want to marry in my 30s, and then divorcing them, and then getting pregnant after that, way after that, it's not his child, getting pregnant, and then finding out my mom was sick, and then having my mom pass away. It just opened up the door even more, because a lot of the work that I did in my 30s was very much the onion layer, peeling back the onion layer, disconnecting cords and patterns where I was attached to the external world, where I was attached to people from my past, where I was attached to people that were around me, and that codependent part of me I was unraveling. But then what has been different this time around, obviously my dad, he was the instigator for that. My mom was the instigator for this one. is that this is the deeper stuff. This is really, I brought in the awareness that I had around the patterns and the stories and sabotages, because I'd spent 10 years in really deep, basically in deep meditation, learning every part of me. Well, probably, was it 10 years? No, it wasn't, because I stopped when I was about 38. I took a break and stopped. And I didn't really dive into it till I was probably about 32. So let's go 6 years. It was about 6 years, 7 years of deep meditation, where I was going and learning to be the observer and following my patterns and following my sabotages and following all of that. And then I feel like I'm going around in circles. I feel like I'm kind of jumping, but I'm jumping for a reason, because I want to set this tone of, I guess I really want to let you understand that I am not coming at this from sitting in my ivory tower. I'm not sitting in my ivory tower. I've read a book. I've done a couple of lessons and gone, hey, let's teach people how to feel good. It's not like that. It's been years and years and years and years and years of hell, and being raised from day one of not being wanted. I was not the wanted child in my family. I was definitely 100% the unwanted child in my family. And it was very obvious to me now, looking back, I can see that that was the story that was underlying everything that happened in my life, in my family. And I don't come from the space of, well, I had, okay, so this is something I really did want to share. And I apologize if I'm jumping around, but this is my brain. This is what it does. So what I did want to share was that I have really learned over the last number of years that there is a very big difference between the brain of someone who comes from a space where their foundation is love and trust and safety. And they can do work, they can go off and they can manifest, they can do tapping, they can do 5 minutes of tapping and then clear something and then walk away and be fine. They can sit down and meditate and create a reality that they want to create, and it happens a lot easier. They can let go of their trauma. They might have had trauma when they were a teenager, but if their childhood meant that they had a parent that they could fall back on, they had a parent who loved them, they had a sibling or a grandparent or a teacher, just it only takes one person in your reality to create a foundation of love and safety and trust. And when you have that, does not matter what happens to you, you always have that to stand on. And I can tell you that from all the people I've spoken to, that if they have that foundation, it's a lot easier for them when they come into adulthood and they're facing the trauma that happened to them throughout their life. It's a lot easier for them to stand up, because they know what that platform feels like. They know that there's a platform of love and safety and trust that they can fall back on, and they always have. They've always had someone be there to give them a hug if they cried, or to support them if they needed support, or someone that they could confide in growing up. But the brain of someone that didn't have that, the brain of someone that has no safety, no trust as the foundation, it is a lot different, and it is a lot more challenging. Trying to make your way through your trauma when you don't have a foundation of love and safety and trust is so much harder. And it's because you're trying to face your trauma without having any love or safety or trust there. So you're trying to face your trauma from a place of complete abandonment, being completely alone, being completely isolated, being completely rejected, and not knowing whether that is going to not knowing whether there's anyone that's going to pick you up if you fall. And that's why sometimes, to me, it felt like if I was dealing with my stuff, it felt as if I was going to deal with my stuff, then what if I fall? And what if I can't get back up again? What if I collapse because the pain is so hard and it's so intense and I can't get back up again? So I never went into the deep, dark spaces. I could never afford a therapist or a coach or someone to support me long term. Anytime I've ever seen anyone, it's only been because I've had a little bit of money for a couple of weeks. And so I've gone and I've paid someone to support me through something for a couple of weeks. But that is few and far between. That's maybe in the last 5 years, I think I've done that maybe 4 times, where I've seen someone for a couple of weeks and then I've had to walk away because I just haven't had the finances behind me to back it. Or I've had the finance. Let me rephrase that. I've had the finances because I do have the finances behind me, but I've had the fear of spending the money on something like that instead of spending the money on food or petrol or the internet or my phone, like fundamentals, essentials. And that comes from having a mum, being a kid to a single mum who could only afford the essentials and could never really afford anything more than that. So that's definitely anchored in there. So I want to get into the technique that I used, which started this whole process. And I will invite you after this to come in to Rise Up and Shine with me, because even though I'm setting the technique that I used, which started to build the foundation of safety, started to build the foundation of trust, and is actually the core thing that I still use now to give me that foundation. So when I am feeling a little bit wobbly, I've got something to stand on now. I never had anything to stand on before. Now I do. And as I share this technique, I want you to know that you can absolutely take this away and run with it and go and use this as much as you can possible to create your own foundation. And you can create your foundation on your own. And at the end of this 5 days, I'm going to invite you guys to come into the Rise Up and Shine course, because it's what I've learned and what I understand now, which I didn't understand before, is that this would have been so much easier if I had someone in my corner. If I had someone that I could bounce my stuff off, if I had someone that I could say, is this right? Is this the right way? Am I doing it right? Because I kept having this voice come into my head saying, this isn't working. This isn't working. You're not doing it right. This isn't working. This isn't going to help you. You know that this is not the right way to do this, don't you? And these voices that go on in my head, and maybe they go in your head as well, that these incessant voices that go on and on and on and on, you got to know they're in there. These voices that just don't stop. They're the things that keep pulling you down and pulling you down and pulling you down. And so in Rise Up and Shine, I help you anchor this in, but we also start on the awareness and the observation of those voices, because honestly, the power comes when you can sit in your energy and you can see your thoughts and you can feel your feelings, and then you are in the middle going, there's that thought, I can see you. Oh, there's that feeling, I can feel you. But you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings. You are this, depending on what you believe, but you are, I believe, we are this divine energy. We are these divine creators that are inside these human physical bodies. And we have thoughts and we have feelings, but we are not our thoughts and our feelings. We can actually sit in the observer of them, and you can see the thought come and you can see the feeling come, and it will settle back down. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to share with you, it just dropped into my head that I wanted to make sure I share, so you can kind of get a little bit more of an understanding of how much I understand where you are. And I shared this analogy with a client one day, which was, for me, for a long time, life felt like I was a bit of a pinball. You know, those pinball machines where you drop the ball and you hit the side and it goes ding, 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 ding. To me, that's what life was like. It's like someone dropped my ball in a pinball machine and they hit it, and every time it hits a wall, it just bounces off. And every time it hits something, it just bounces off. And every now and then, when it hits one of those levers, and it would hit the lever and then it'd go and it would take off and go even faster. That to me was kind of what my life was like. I just felt like a pinball. bouncing from one thing to the next thing, from one feeling to the next feeling, from one thought to the next thought, and there was no silence, and there was no peace, and there was no harmony. I was bouncing internally, and that to me is kind of where the panic attacks came from as well. It was just this constant bouncing, and I could feel it. Even now, if I tune into that feeling of being a pinball, I can feel it. It's like right high up in my chest. I can feel this feeling of ding, 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 ding. A thought comes in, a feeling comes in, a thought comes in, a feeling comes in, a feeling comes in, a thought comes in, a thought comes in, a feeling comes in. And I'm like, how do I don't know how to, what do I do with this? This is what I was like, what do I do with this? What do I, and then I would just be going about life. I had no control. I had no say. I really did feel like I was just, okay, bounce to that partner, then bounce over to that partner, now bounce to that friend, and something happens. So I'm going to bounce over to that friend, and then I'm going to bounce into that job, and then I lose that job. So I'm going to bounce over to that job. I don't like that job. I'm going to leave that job. So I'm going to bounce over to that job. And I have just been bouncing off all of these different things, all these thoughts and all these feelings on the inside, but all of this world on the external. I mean, in the last 9 years that my daughter has been born, she has lived in, I worked out the other day, I think she's lived in 6 houses in 9 years. And when I was pregnant with her, in the 9 months that I was pregnant with her, I lived in 6 different houses, I think it was, because I was bouncing. I was always bouncing, and I've gone from partner to partner to partner to partner, and I've gone from job to job to job to job, and friend to friend to friend to friend, constantly just bouncing, and thoughts and feelings and thoughts and feelings, and never, I can feel it. I need to bring myself back down again, because I can feel, I just tuned into what that felt like so I could explain it to you. And now my insides are like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, okay, I need to bring myself back down again. There was, that just give me a minute to bring myself back. There was no peace. There was no quiet. There was no calm. There was no serenity. There was no floor. There was no floor. I constantly felt like I was free falling in life. And before my mum passed away, my mum was a foundation. It was a movable foundation. She wasn't a stable foundation. She was a movable foundation. But it wasn't a foundation of love and safety and trust. It wasn't. That's what I mean by it. She was a foundation. It was a foundation of codependence. It was a foundation of addiction. I was addicted to the feeling that she gave me because it's what I grew up with. And that feeling was being a victim. I was a very big victim to my mum, and I was very strongly codependent on her. And so when she passed away, my platform just went, and I free fall. There was nothing there. And for 6 years after, well, no, it's been 6 years since she passed, so it must be 4 years. 4 years, yeah, it was 4 years that I started free falling until I found this technique that I am going to share with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on this tangent. Until I found this technique, which started to build the base foundation for me, which started to put a floor in for myself so I could stand on something. And that is the technique which I'm going to give you right now. I'm not going to delay anymore. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. There's so much information I wanted to share with you. So the technique is that I was walking around the house, and I was just constantly asking, there's got to be something I can do. There has to be something I can do to feel safe, because I was really acutely aware. I'd become aware by sitting and observing what was going on. And I went, I don't feel safe. This is why I'm bouncing off every wall and emotion and feeling and person and partner and job and experience, is because I don't feel safe. I do not feel safe in this physical body. I do not feel safe being human. I do not feel safe as a person, like as the ego brain aspect, the conscious part of me or unconscious part of me, I do not feel safe with people. I do not feel safe in this world. There is nothing in this world when you are raised from an unsafe, untrustworthy, non-loving perspective. When that is your environment, there's nothing in this world that anchors in safety for you. And when I became acutely aware of that, I went, okay, I need to feel safe in this moment right now. And I just went outside. I went up, we had a driveway that was really steep. So I walked up the driveway and I sat at the top of the driveway and I put my hands on the ground. And you can do this right now. You can put your hands on the table. You can put your hands on your legs. You can put your hands together, whatever works. If you're driving, have your hands on the steering wheel. Whatever you are doing right now, even if you're at work listening to this, maybe you can have your hands on the computer, on the keyboard, if you're typing. Whatever you're doing right now, bring yourself into that awareness. And what you want to do is wherever you are, you actually want to start saying very truthful, honest statements. It has to be truthful and it has to be honest. You cannot lie. So you cannot sit here and say, in this moment right now, I feel safe, because that will probably be a lie. And if you lie to yourself, then you are anchoring in that this world is not safe, that you're anchoring in that this world is not truthful, that there's no honesty here, that you cannot be trusted. And that's not what you want to do. You want to be honest because you want to start bringing in that trust for yourself. You are going to create the safety and you are going to create the trust and you are going to create what you need to bring yourself into a space of serenity and peace and calm and mindfulness and all of those fabulous things that people talk about. They say, this is where you want to go. You cannot get from there to there if here you live in a world where you feel completely unsafe and you're trying to get to a world of serenity. You cannot feel serene and calm if you feel unsafe. So we're coming all the way back here to the very beginning, the very start, and creating a moment, one moment of safety. And I want to share with you that when I first started this, so you sit, and I started with my hands on the ground and I looked around and I said, and I could see a red flower. So I could see a red flower on a tree. So I'd say, in this moment right now, I can see that red flower over there. And I would look at the red flower and I would wait. And I would hear this other voice in my head go, yep, I can. And you can do this in your head. You do not have to do it out loud. You can do this in your head. You always wait for that confirmation. Yes, I can. I can see that. Yep, I can. And then I'll do it here. So as I'm sitting in this room, okay, so in this moment right now, I can see the blue case to my phone. Yep, I can. Okay. Take a breath in after each one. And you want to feel the honesty in that. You want to feel the truth in the statement that you are sharing right now. You have to feel the truth in the statement. That will anchor in the truth. So if you are lying to yourself, if you are saying, I can see it, if you're testing yourself and saying, I can see a pink cover to that phone and your phone cover is blue, you're lying to yourself. Do not test the process, because all you're doing is lying to yourself and anchoring in the fact that you cannot trust yourself, which is not what you want to do. This is creating safety and trust, trusting that what you say is real, trusting that what you say is true, and trusting that you can feel safe in this moment. That's what we're getting to. So you want to first say lots and lots and lots of true statements. So in this moment right now, I can see the pink case to my glasses. Yes, I can. And if I put my hands on my legs, in this moment right now, I can feel, and you can close your eyes if you want to, so you can feel, in this moment right now, I can feel my hands on the tops of my thighs. Yes, I can. Open my eyes. In this moment right now, I can see the pink hairbrush handle. Yes, I can. And you want to breathe in between. You want to feel the safety. You want to feel the truth in the statement. And you should start to notice a difference. You should start to notice even the slightest bit of relief from this tied up, messy, knotted shitfest. Let's call it shitfest that you've got going on your insides. If you have that tied up, knotty, messy shitfest going on in your insides, then you hopefully will start to feel just a little bit of relief. And a little, with every true statement that you make, a little bit of relief, a little bit of relief. And it's in this moment. So you're not looking, let's say I'm looking at a fan, even though I can see the pink glasses case in the corner of my eye, I'm not looking at the fan saying, I can see the pink corner glasses case, because I'm not looking at it. Yes, I can see it, but it's still a lie because you're not directly looking at it. And you can test it if you want, and you'll notice, okay, if I look at that fan, in this moment right now, I can see the pink glasses case. I can't see it because it's not in my direct periphery. I'm not looking at it. And that might not make sense, but go with me on it because you won't get a yes. You're not looking at it. You can see it here, but you're not looking at it. It's what you can see directly in front of you, where your eyes are going. That is what you are looking at. That is your focus. So then what happened was I wanted to start. After I'd sat and I did this for only about 5 minutes, I did maybe 20 different things. I could feel my hand on the ground, on the concrete. I could see the next door neighbor's wall. I could see the blue sky. I could see the roof to our house. I could see that plant and that plant. And I was looking, going, in this moment right now, I can see that green leaf on that tree right there. Yes, I can. And that was the process for me, is this being very, very, very clear and very, very, very specific, because I wanted to start building trust in myself. And the only way to do that is to be specific and clear about what you can see in that one moment, because you want to anchor in trust. And you can play games with this. You can follow your brain that goes, oh, just do this, do it this way instead. But it might work, but it might not work. So you can either play games and go where the voices in your head are taking you, but let me tell you that the voices in your head that have said go this way have landed you where you are right now. And I'm guessing that if you are here listening to this, where you are right now is not exactly where you want to be. So instead of playing that game with your brain, play this game and see what happens. Try something different. Because what if it works? What if it creates safety for you? What if you start to have a foundation of safety and you start to feel relief? It's like relief, one layer of relief at a time, one layer of relief at a time. And this takes time. It's not something, I didn't sit there and do it for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden get up and go, yay, I feel good. I'm never having a panic attack ever again. It doesn't work like that. These moments in time, this safety, this lack of safety has been embedded in your being. It takes more than a minute for it to unbed itself and for a shift to change. And so for me, I did this constantly. I was washing the dishes. In this moment right now, I can feel the gloves against my fingers while I'm washing the dishes. Yes, I can. In this moment right now, I can see the pink sponge while I'm washing the dishes. Yes, I can. In this moment right now, I can see that I am cleaning this glass with this sponge. Yes, I can. I did this all the time, everywhere. If I was driving the car, in this moment right now, I can feel the steering wheel against my hands. Yes, I can. In this moment right now, I can feel my foot on the accelerator through my shoes. Yes, I can. Well, actually not through my shoes, through my socks, because I never wear shoes when I'm driving. But let's say you do it through your shoes. But I always wear socks or bare feet. So whatever I had at the time, it would have been either bare feet or socks. And then you might say, in this moment right now, I can see that car in front of me. Yes, I can. And this is every minute of every day. If I was not talking on the phone to someone, if I was not sleeping, if I was not playing with my daughter, if I was not feeding the dogs, if I was in any moment where I could actually redirect my thoughts to in this moment right now statements, I did it because I wanted to anchor in the safety and I wanted to anchor in the trust. And I wanted to feel better than I did. And I think that's the key is, do you really want to feel better than you do? Because it did take a bit for me to come around, because there was a part of me, and this is what I started to realize when I started to actually do this work. And this is what we will move into and do a lot deeper in Rise Up and Shine, which is I started to realize that I was addicted to how I felt. And there was a part of me that didn't really want to let it go. Because who am I if I feel good? Who are my friends if I feel good? What do I talk about if I feel good about myself and I'm not complaining about my life all the time? What does that mean? How do I go to a job that I do not like when I'm trying to feel good about myself? Or how do I get on the phone and talk to that person that I know I feel bad talking to when I'm working at trying to feel good about myself? So it's this balance of going back and forth and temporarily having to do things that I did not want to do, while I anchored in safety, trust, because you need that foundation before you can deal with any of that stuff in your external world. Anything in your external world, it does not matter what it is, before you can deal with anything in your external world, there has to be a foundation of safety and trust. And I have found, after doing this work for 17 years, and I promise you I have done so much work over the years, and I'm obviously not going to get into all of it in this call, otherwise we would be here for 5 hours. But I can promise you that it is the foundation of safety and trust. This is the only thing that has worked to end my panic attacks. This is the only thing that has worked that I can then fall back on if I ever fall down again. So there are moments where I fall, and one of the first things I say to myself is, in this moment right now, I feel safe from harm. In this moment right now, I am completely safe from harm. And that was the other thing I wanted to share. I could not, in the first day, say, in this moment right now, I am safe. And in this moment right now, I'm safe from harm. Because I was so far away from feeling safe. I was so far away from it. There's absolutely no way that I could sit on that driveway when I was feeling as scared as I was, because this was a year and a half into, all the crazy that's happened over the last couple of years. It was about a year and a half into it. And I was terrified. I was terrified of all of it. And so I had to sit, and the closest I could get to safety was, in this moment right now, I could, and I'm paraphrasing, this isn't exactly what I said because it was a long time ago and I didn't write it down, but this is basically what I said. In this moment right now, I could possibly, perceivably, maybe conceptualize the idea that I could perhaps one day in the near distant future, maybe potentially, possibly, conceivably consider feeling maybe just a teeny tiny little bit safer than what I do right now. I was so far away from feeling safe that I could not say, in this moment right now, I feel completely safe from harm. I couldn't do it. I was so far away. And it took me a while. It did. I'm not going to lie. It took me a while of saying this over and over and over and over and over again, until one day I sat and I went, in this moment right now, I feel completely safe from harm. And I got it. Yep, I do. I feel completely safe from harm. And even as I sit here now, and I'm sitting here, and I can say, in this moment right now, I feel completely safe from harm. And then I breathe in, and I would feel that safety. And I would sit and savor that feeling before I went to the next in this moment right now. And when you have a shift of relief, you do not feel like you have to jump from the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and get as many things in 5 minutes as you can. That's not what this is about. If you can sit wherever you are, and let's say you're looking at your phone, and if you can say in this moment right now, I can see the blue case on my phone, and then you breathe in. And if that creates a moment of relief for you, savor it. Savor that feeling. Allow that feeling to be there. And then when you start to feel the restriction again, say another statement. In this moment right now, I can see the pink glasses case. And I would always close my eyes when I breathe in, because then I could breathe in. I can breathe right down into the feeling, and I can feel the feeling easier than if I had my eyes open. And I would savor the feeling, and I would allow myself to feel this feeling. And this is part of the anchoring in. And as we move on, and if you decide to come with me into the rise and shine, then we will do more of this savoring, but we also move more into allowing, because there is such a big part of us when we've been raised in trauma, and we have been raised in being a victim or being raised with a really low self-worth. There is also part of that comes with it is the punisher. The punisher, if you are anything other than what you have been trained to become. Because anytime, I know this might be the same for you, but anytime I stepped outside of the box that my parents thought was acceptable, anytime my behavior stepped outside of this box, I got punished, and I usually got hit. And so now what happens is that as an adult, we go to try and do something we want to do, and that kid jumps up with its little program and says, you're stepping outside of the box. You're going to get punished. Don't do it. And then it creates these feelings that keeps us inside the box. It creates, and if we're not aware that our thoughts and our feelings are not us, and if we're walking around the world like most of us are, you probably are, I know I was, walking around the world thinking that this feeling is me, thinking this thought is mine, thinking that these are all me, these are part of me, and your feelings just guide you like this. And so you walk to do something, and then you all of a sudden get this feeling that goes, don't do it. And so then you come back. And most of the time, unless you've been working on awareness, a really deep awareness work, most of the time, we're completely unaware that that's what we're doing. We're completely unaware of the fact that our life is the way it is, because every time we go to do something that we think we really want to do, something pops up and goes, don't do it. It's not safe. You are not safe doing that. You're going to get punished. And so we come back. But this is not a conscious thought. There's not a conscious thought inside your head that you're aware of saying, it is not safe to do that. Do not do it. This is all automatic, habitual patterning that just vibrates inside of us. And we go, and that's what I mean by that analogy of the pinball, is that we're just bouncing. We're bouncing off thoughts. We're bouncing off feelings. We're bouncing off this person said something, that person said something. Oh, my employer doesn't like me. My employer just punished me. My mom just punished me. What if I do this? I might get in trouble. And we're just bouncing off all of this fear inside of us. We're not in control of any of it when you haven't done the work. I have to say that. I have to say when you have not done the work. Because now what I understand so clearly is that when you are really, truly aware of your thoughts bouncing around, they can bounce around and you can see them. I can see my thoughts going ding, 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 ding. And I look at them and go, holy, is that what I used to live with? Damn, no wonder I was a mess. And then my feelings would be going ding, 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 ding. Something would happen with someone, feeling come up. Something else happens with someone, feeling would come up, and I would be ding, 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 bouncing off all of my feelings. But now I can see my feelings and accept that they're there. They are a part of me. But here's what happens as you do this more and more and more and more. The thoughts start to settle down because you've seen them. They feel heard. They feel loved. They feel acknowledged. They know you know that they're there. They don't need to scream at you anymore to try and get your attention. And feelings are exactly the same. The reason they're so loud is because they're unseen, they're unheard, they're unacknowledged, they are unappreciated, and they're unloved. And if you think about it, that every single human being on this planet, what they want is to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be loved. Yeah, this is what we want. We want all of this. We want to be appreciated. And when we aren't, we start to feel it. We start to get angry, or we start to go into the victim and get sad. We'll either go angry or we'll go sad. Well, the inside of you, all of these teeny tiny little parts inside of you that have existed since the day you were born, they're all inside. They're having their own little drama and having their own little thoughts and their own little feelings, and they've all got their own little hearts. Imagine all of these little mini yous. I know people talk about inner child work and they imagine that there's one child. I do not imagine that there's one child. I imagine that there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of little mini me's inside of me. And every time I have a feeling, I will go to that one mini me that has that thought and has that feeling and has that experience. And I go through the process that I share with you in Rise Up and Shine. I take you into that process so you can feel those parts. Because when they are seen and they are heard and they are loved and they are acknowledged and they are appreciated, they settle down and they stop screaming. And I know, because I experienced this, is the more that you see them and the more time you spend with them and the more time you acknowledge them and appreciate them and love them, the more they settle down. And then all of a sudden you're not bouncing off the walls because you have a foundation of safety. You have a foundation of trust. So you've got an anchor, you've got something to stand on. And when a feeling comes up and you fall over, you're not free falling. You're landing on a surface of safety and trust. And it makes such a difference because you can sit there for a while and feel that love and safety and then stand back up again. When you don't have love and safety and something happens, you just keep on falling. And you fall and you fall and you fall and you fall. And when you've had enough trauma over a long period of time, like some of us, my trauma started when my mom was pregnant with me. My dad had an affair when she was pregnant with me, and he left, according to my grandma, he got into the cab that my mum came home from the taxi. Like, he got in and left in the same car. So she walked into the house with me while he was driving away. I was born into trauma. That's where my beginning is that I was born into anger, hate, resentment, grief, sadness, pain, abandonment, punishment. I was born into that. That was my life. That was the foundation of how my life started. And so when you are born into that experience and there is no love, there is no safety, there is no trust, you are free falling. And there's nothing for you to land on unless you're like me and you have someone. And if you are someone, you probably have someone. But that someone is usually someone that you are addicted to, that you are codependent on, that you are a victim to, that you are attached to in some way. It's not a healthy love, safety, and trust. It's an addiction. It's an addiction to them. Like, they're your dealer. They're the person that deals you your energy. So when they disappear, now you've got nothing. And that was the scariest time for me ever, was when my mum passed away and I realized I now have nothing. There's no one here. There's nothing here. It is the scariest time, and it is the scariest feeling that I think I've ever had. And it took me a long time. I went through an eating disorder in my 40s. I was terrified. I was out of control. When my pinball was bouncing around like normal, dum, 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 dum. When my mum got sick, it's better. It's like a lever. When my mum got sick, it's like a lever just went. And then I started to get an eating disorder. And then when she would get worse and worse and worse, and every time she would call me and say the chemo hasn't worked, not that I would ever do that, but she said the chemo hasn't worked, radiation hasn't worked, none of it's working, it's not going away. Every time she would call me and make that conversation after she saw the oncologist, another ball would hit another lever. And so by the time she passed away, I'm doing this with a million balls going a million miles an hour. And all of a sudden there's nothing. So my balls are just bouncing all over the place. I was a mess. And it has taken me 6 years to get to this point where I honestly, with every part of the feelings inside of me, can say that I have a foundation. I have a foundation of safety. I have a foundation of trust. I can trust in something. I don't necessarily know what that something is yet. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the universe. But there is trust there. I can feel it. I can feel that there's trust. I can trust in something. There is trust in there. And there is safety in there. And there is definitely some love in there, which I am still working on. This is not a fast process. This is not something that happens in a minute. You have to really want it. You have to really want it. And to join Rise Up and Shine, you have to really want it. You have to really, really want to move past this deep, dark feeling that you have inside yourself, because to get past it, you have to go through it. And it's not easy. And this is not going to be a program where you're sitting and we're doing affirmations and you're ignoring what's there. You're not ignoring what's there. This is not going to be a program where you get to walk away saying I am statements over and over and over again in front of the mirror, say, I am love, I am harmony, I am abundant, I am truth. Because none of that shit works. It doesn't work when you do not have a foundation. This is, and to honestly, to build that foundation of safety and love and trust and being, it is being in the moment and sitting in the moment and doing it over and over and over again. And there are parts in your brain that are going to fight constantly. They are going to push against you because your brain is programmed to be one way, and it will push against you. It will push and it will push and it will distract you, and it will say, oh, let's not do it today. Do it tomorrow. It's all right, you can do it tomorrow. And then you won't do it that day. And then the next day will come and it's go, oh, you know what? I'm just feeling a little bit, I'm just not feeling up. There'll just be the tiniest little voice in your head. You may or may not be aware of it. It'll say, I just won't do it today. Let's do it tomorrow. And then I can guarantee within 3 or 4 days, you won't be doing it. And you'll go, am I doing something? And then your brain will flash up, oh, go watch this video. This video will fix your problems. And then you'll go watch that video and it won't fix your problems. And then you'll go watch another video and it won't fix your problems. And your brain will keep popping up with all of these ways to distract you, to stop you from doing this one thing. And that's what I found, was that it just kept popping up with all of these distractions. And I had to keep pulling myself back and going, no, I am. And this is where you get the gift of me doing all of that work, of the observer work, is that I can see the thoughts coming and going, no, we're not doing that today. But if you haven't done the observer work and you haven't sat and you are not aware of your thoughts, that your thoughts are not you, they are your thoughts. If you're not aware of your subconscious patterning, if you're not aware of your habitual feelings and your habitual program that is running around inside of you, within a couple of days, you'll be off on a thought trip. And you'll be back exactly where you are now, looking for another solution, looking for another book, looking for another video, looking for another affirmation, looking for another free program that is going to take you from where you are to where you want to be. Because that's exactly what I did. I went from program to program to program that was free. And I went from video to video to video. And I went from book to book to book. And I just kept going. And it wasn't until I sat and I stopped and I did this, And I realized I need to find some safety. If I do not find safety in my life, I am not getting out of where I am. I'm going to be stuck here forever. And that has been the biggest thing that I have learned, is how to create the safety and the love and the trust. And this was the start. So I'm giving you the start. This was my foundation in this moment right now statements. In this moment right now. And it's not in this moment right now I feel happy. It's not in this moment right now I feel statements to start off with. It's in this moment right now I can see. Start with the external world. Start with the fan. Start with the hairbrush. Start with the glasses. Start with the hair elastic. Start with the table. Start with the keyboard. Start with the headphones. Start with the computer. Start with the dishes on the bench. Start with the whatever. Start with the couch. Start with the coffee table. Start with the in this moment right now I can see statements. Because you're not trying to fix anything inside right now. You're not trying to dive into really deep, dark feelings and fix them all. You're trying to anchor in very true statements so you can start to trust yourself. Because I can guarantee you have probably been lying to yourself for years without even realizing it. Teeny tiny little lies over and over and over and over and over again. Because, and this is what I actually really came to understand the other day, how much lies dictated my life, was because when I did tell the truth, I got punished. So if I did something wrong and I told the truth because I did something, I broke something or something like that, I got punished. And it wasn't just that's not okay. It was go to your room, your father will deal with you when he gets here. And my dad was a weekend dad. So if I did something wrong on a Wednesday, I'd be waiting until Saturday, and I knew what was coming, and it was me getting hit. So he would hit me for something that I did on a Wednesday. So I lived in this life of fear of on a Wednesday, I knew my dad was going to be hitting me on a Saturday. So I would spend days in fear of what was coming, of that punishment. And it's insane when I look back and I think, damn, I did not have good parents. Thank God they're not alive now. But yeah, it was, when you are raised in that kind of environment, there's so much protection that comes around you in your brain. There's so much, I'll just take my headphones out. I'm not sure why I've got them in. There's so much protection that you create in your brain. There are so many protection mechanisms that come in because there's so much punishment in your space. There's so much getting into trouble. There's so much fear around your environment that if you go a little bit that way, your brain goes, stop. And then you get a feeling of, or a sinking feeling, or a sad feeling, or an angry feeling, or a frustrated feeling, some kind of feeling that stops you in your tracks. And then usually we spew it out at whatever is, we blame whatever is that thing that is outside of us as the cause of the problem. But here's the fascinating thing. It's not the cause of the problem. The cause is already in there. The cause is already in you. That is simply a catalyst to trigger the feeling. So you get the opportunity to go, oh, I've got this feeling. What is that? And actually look at it. And this is where we go and rise up and shine as we start doing this sort of process of, we start to see that when a feeling comes up, the external world is not the cause. It's just a catalyst for what is already going on the inside. But to start that process is really important to create safety, trust, safety, trust, safety, trust, safety, trust. So you build a foundation, you put the safety down, you put the trust down, you put the safety down, you put the trust down, you put the safety down, you put the trust down, bit by bit, moment by moment, by moment, by moment. And this sounds really arduous. But I had a client do this. We did some coaching over 4 weeks, and by the end of the 4 weeks, her panic attacks had lessened. When she started to feel the panic attack come up, she would do in this moment right now statements, and it would calm them back down again. I don't know if she's still going with the statements. I don't know if she was able to anchor them in, because again, if you do not have someone in your background that knows how easy it is to go off on a thought trip that distracts you from doing the thing that you're doing. You can end up straight back down in your rabbit hole so fast. And then you sit there and you wonder, well, how did I get back here again? And then you go, like I said before, then you go off looking for another video, another book, another coach, another program, another solution, another, everything outside of you. And if I can be the person that stops you from doing that and say, no, there is nothing out there that's going to fix you. Come and do this. Come here. Come here. Come in here. Come in here. In this moment right now. Come in here. That's what's going to fix you. So I think that, what's the time? Oh, 10 o'clock. I've been rambling for an hour. Look at that. I thought I'd only go for half an hour. So please try this today, try this tomorrow. We get together in 2 days. I'm in the group. If you have any questions, make sure you pop them up. If you have an experience and you're doing it in this moment right now and you notice that you feel relief, pop that in the group. Let me know. I really want to hear. I want to go on this journey with you and this adventure with you, because I want to be able to help you get to where I am now, which is this space of, as I'm sitting here right now, in the space of feeling harmonious. It's harmonious inside my body. I am no longer going ding, 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 ding. It's like this really nice, harmonious, flowing, everything is slowed down. This is about the speed that I'm going right now. Everything on the inside is slowed down. I can see things when they're coming at me. I can see this one when it's coming at me, because everything is slowed down. And that's what I hope to help you get to, that moment. So please do share in the group. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you watch this video all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. If you are seeing this somewhere else and you have no idea what group I'm talking about, I'm sure there's going to be a link in a description somewhere, or there's going to be a link somewhere wherever this has been shared. So make sure you do check out that link. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. You are truly and greatly appreciated. I'll see you in 2 days. Bye.